I'm Adam House, and today's guest is Ace Curtis. He's a certified life coach, motivational speaker, longtime builder in the business world.
Thank you so much, Adam. I'm glad and honored to be here.
So take us back to this time of when you wanted to do something and test it, and tell us about that journey.
I wanted to focus on personal growth. Started to do some research, listening to Les Brown and reading some of the books and things he has, Tony Robbins and Dr. Graziano. And in that process, found some unique insights where there were parallels around growth, around believing in the universe, around believing in yourself, around affirmations.
People just think you become a inspirational or motivational speaker, but the real authentic ones, it's usually when you're coming out of a valley type experience. A lot of people waste those valley type experiences when it's, in all actuality, the time that you need to gain the tools and the resources to climb the next mountain.
I've obviously done a ton of Zoom calls and meetings and presentations. And so I thought that I would immediately be successful in motivational speaking and getting on stage. And I had practiced and practiced and practiced. And in my first talk, I froze. Now, if you actually watch it, it's completely edited out, but I froze on stage and I completely blanked out. And of course, it's embarrassing. I was like, okay, so I know what I want to say. It's not coming to me. So then I regain my footing and I continue. And then I freeze again. And it felt like minutes. I don't know why I froze twice on stage in front of a crowd of a little over 300. That was my first failure, my first attempt at engaging in the motivational speaking world. I completely bombed on stage.
What did you take from it?
I learned that this was not going to be easy, understanding that piece from a technical perspective. But then from an industry perspective, it's not an industry that's easy to break into. So motivational speaking is really on par with establishing an entrepreneurial business. There's a lot of investment to be made in coaching, in learning, in communities, in networking, in content materials, and so much more.
What I've found is the business of just getting booked, it is a whole nother animal.
I've been pursuing this since the end of 2023. How can I take my personal growth journey, turn it into artifacts? And because I've got that business and initiative style mindset, how can I take this into a process that can be tactically followed for other people to be able to benefit from? So now, as I've done more talks and I use words as tools to create acronyms that are actually plans for people to execute. And so I shared growth already. When I think about mindset, the mentality to take the initiative towards a new determination that shifts your execution today. That was a question that I would receive when I would get off stage. So what is your mindset like? What does that mean? How do I define that?
Someone out there right now, what is one thing that you have learned about keynote speaking?
I would say don't quit. So sometimes we take a challenge or a failure as a sign to stop. That may not always be the case. So to your point, it's test, fail, learn, grow. We need to test things. And that's everything from a hypothesis perspective to how we ourselves are tested in what we're trying to do.
One thing I try to do as well, even all these live events and podcasts, and it's never really been about the numbers. There's one person out there that needs to hear what you have to say. And if you just focus on that one, you don't know who it is, but you just have that one in your mind that you can impact.
One thing that I tapped into is a quote from Randy Pausch. He dedicated one of his last speeches to his children. His speech was around brick walls. He said, the brick walls are there for a reason. They're not there to stop you. They're there to stop the people who don't want something badly enough. When you come upon a brick wall, it's not there to stop you. It's there to stop the other people. So you have to show that you want it.
That's a huge shift. And by the way, now I'm ready to run through a brick wall. You got me all fired up. My key takeaway here today is that brick walls are created for opportunity. And you may fail once, you may fail twice trying to break through it. But like you said, if you don't quit, eventually you're going to get that brick wall. And it's to keep those that don't want it from pursuing what it is that we think we want.
I have a mentor, Doug Schumann. He does this exercise where he says, raise your hand high as you can. So everyone's going like this. And he goes, now raise it 2 more inches. And so everyone stands on their tippy toes. And that was, why didn't you do that the first time when we said, raise your hand as high as you can? And so there's several things to learn from that. One is what we think is our best, we can actually tap into more. There's more potential. There's more that we can do. And then we have to redefine, to your point, our standard of what our best is.
For anyone listening out there right now who's standing at their own brick wall, you don't stop. You got to keep going. You're not being blocked, you're being tested. And that is the opportunity to separate you from those that aren't willing to put in the work, put in the effort,